Good morning, watchers of Varn. And it's definitely the morning. It is not yet even. The sun is not yet up here in Utah. I'm. This is just an announcement. Uh, I interviewed Benjamin Studebaker in November, um, and was releasing the interview today. My patrons over on the Patreon side, unfortunately, got a surprise when 20 minutes in, only half of the audio was corrupted. It was my half, but it was half. I've invited Benjamin Studebaker back on to redo the interview. He may or may not accept. It's a shame because I think actually the book that he wrote on American democracy is quite perceptive and good. And I was particularly proud of this interview. I spent the when I got notification the audio was messed up by the patrons who listen immediately because I released this in the middle of the night. Um, I I freaked out because I didn't. There was no evidence of audio problems in the actual recording of the interview. There's no evidence of audio problems in the first 20 minutes of the interview. When it kicks in, there's digital corruption rife on my side, and it's not through the whole file because the digital corruption happened in compilation. What StreamYard, the program I use, did, it seems to have happened, is that when it compiled the mixed audio with my own audio track, which it does actually to prevent audio errors like this from happening, my side was just digitally corrupted 20 minutes on. It is pretty much unlistenable. I've tried to listen to it. I tried to run it through an audio processor this morning on the audio side to see if I could correct the audio file. Maybe a professional who does file corruption could do it, but at that point, it's just cheaper and easier to redo the interview. So, if you are wondering why the interview with Benjamin Studebaker disappeared, there's no controversy. There's no fallout between me and Mr. Studebaker. I think Benjamin is a very polite scholar. And I really wanted to release this interview because, like I said, I thought his particular context on American democracy is great, but I can't release to you guys a product that I can't listen to, and I can't fix. So, uh, like I said, I've invited Ben back on um, to do the show again. And I'm now going to be also listening to the master files on all the recently recorded interviews because, like I said, there was no indication during the actual recording session there was any problem. This is a new set of problems for me that I haven't seen before. But for those of you who are following along, and there were a lot of people who liked and were following the Benjamin Studebaker interview. That's why I decided to make this. I had like 5-6 likes before the show had even come out, which means that people were following it. And it's been posted up for about a month. It's not usable. And I'm gonna figure out if I'm gonna like change my interview schedule and release another interview early or something. By this afternoon, but unfortunately, I have to go to work and do my day job. So that's just so you guys remember, this is not my primary job. I don't, I know I talk about that all the time, but so me having to spend an hour and a half trying to figure out an audio corruption problem post facto is not normal, um, and sucks. But I wanted to announce it so that no one thought, you when you make an audio file like this disappear or a video file like this, or an interview like this, it can cause scandal, and people could start like, "Oh, what was said?" Nothing was said. It's just a bad audio file. The interview was great, and I actually feel real bad that you guys aren't going to get it. Um, my Patreons got it, but like I said, they're the ones who told me it was unlistenable. And unfortunately, it means I'm going to have to do deeper audio checks on all my new recorded stuff in the future. Because what I tend to do is I have monitoring and all this on my equipment here. And if nothing shows up on that, I check the first 10 minutes and the last 10 minutes and go about my day and run it through a digital processor just to compress the files. And I do edit the free podcast more significantly, but I don't usually do that till after the audio files comes out on the show because the free podcast is about a month behind the YouTube channel. Um, and for those of you who don't know, I do have an audio editor on retainer, but I do most of the production work for Varn. Um, I make most of the intro videos. I do most of the audio editing. I do the video editing, etc. There's not a lot of video editing to do. I quit trying to remove all the ums from the audio, which sucks. I used to meticulously go through and take all of my vocal stammers out of the audio. Back when I started podcast, um, God, now 13 years ago. What I learned is that I care about that stuff, and like if I wanted to go super big, if I wanted to be NPR style, you guys care about that stuff. But most people don't care enough for the amount of effort and money it costs to fix that. And there are post production services that I can use that can fix my levels and um, uh, correct for major audio errors, background noises, etc. I use filters for that in post. Um, and AI has actually, I hate to say it, has actually made some of that a little easier. But this I can't fix. It's a corruption in my audio track. It um well, virtual Jonathan. Uh, yeah. But anyway, so the Benjamin Studebaker piece. I hope Ben accepts my invitation to come back on. If it does, it'll be released in about a month. Um, there's no content problems with it. It's all file corruption. And I'm very tired this morning since I woke up to go to the bathroom and my phone was popping off with comments saying the audio was corrupted in my Patreon. So sorry, patrons. Didn't mean to give you corrupted file, and I'm not going to give the world corrupted file. I tried to listen to it. I've released stuff with corrupted audio in the past or dimmed audio. I can't listen to it, and I have a high tolerance for bad audio. I'm not one of these like audiophile people. Um, so so yeah, this is not pre-recorded. Um, this is me uh actually getting up in the morning to fix an audio file and then realizing that it was corrupted. Um, I would love to stay and do a live stream. Well, actually, I wouldn't. It's 7:30 in the morning. Um, my God, man. Uh, Morning people are weird. And I've already been up for 2 hours. I got to go drive into the office to write curriculum all day. Um, I don't talk about my day job that much, and I'm not going to name where I work because that would be suicide for my career. But I actually work in curriculum development for public schools, and I am technically a teacher, but I don't actually have a classroom anymore. Um, and uh, I got to go do the same thing all day. I got to fix audio and um, uh, and write curriculum and lecture at people all day because my two jobs now have converged into one same kind of job. Um, Priorly, I was an in-person teacher, uh, and I was that for 15 years. Um, Art professor. I've gone back and forth between being a high school teacher and a professor. Uh, Dreaded PMC overlord that I am. All right. Well, thank you for the hair compliments because I have barely combed it. Um, yeah. Waking up to, hey, your audio file is completely corrupted is not something I love, particularly when it wakes you up at 5 in the morning. But for those of you who don't know how this works and why this would happen, when I mentioned the compilation, I record the audio track. Well, I don't record. The service I use records StreamYard, just to mention it because I want to blame them for this. Records the audio tracks separately and together and compiles them. And the reason why it does that is that you know how sometimes streams will get, somebody will have a bad connection and you might lose the audio. Well, this means that the audio is actually um is eh, the internet connection shouldn't affect the audio at all. Because it uploads separate audio. And just whatever happened with mine is when it added my audio line back into the video and synced it with the joint audio, it just completely corrupted my side of the file. So it's also very weird because basically I sound like an audio corrupted robot and Benjamin sounds fine. But my side is literally unlistenable. You can barely understand what I'm saying. It sounds like I dropped the speaker in the ocean and kicked it 5 times. Um, and I was hoping that I could find that I could find the original audio files and fix it that way. Maybe when I was at work, but its corruption goes all the way through. All right, so that's sorry. I'm now talk for 15 minutes about why an audio file got. I'm sure you guys love in late capitalist modernity. Audio files rule you. Um, God, I'm old enough that I one of the few people who remember stupid Yakov Smirnoff jokes from when the Soviet Union was still a thing. Um, this is the perils of getting old. All right. Yeah, and my majestic hair. You can also see I'm graying. Pretty soon I'll look like a certain other uh uh middle-aged podcasters. So um yeah. All right. Thank you guys for being patient. And like I said, there's no problem with Ben. Ben's critique of the inability of American democracy to handle capital flight, which is the primary thing in his thesis, which screws up left, right, and center politics. I think is astute. Um, and I I mean, he's one of the only major left figures who's probably more black pilled than me. Name names. You know who I'm talking about. I'm talking to a certain Mr. Laird who is older than me, and we get to see age gracefully on camera. He's one of the only people I knew who decided to go into camera in his middle ages. Um, so yeah. All right. I was going to repurpose all the old Yakov Smirnoff jokes into DPRK jokes because Zoomers won't get it. I, I have that. You know what's funny? My young listener base, like the under 35s, has actually increased dramatically in the past year, and so has me whining about being old. Um, and when I have people like Dr. William Price, I do feel weird talking, whining about being old when I'm talking to people who are in their 20s and the 60s, but like, or at least late teens. But yeah, well, I agree. Yeah, also, funny joke. Part of the reason why I grew out my hair is when my hair is long, no one says I look like a certain famous Black Lives Matter celebrity. When my hair is short and I've lost weight, which I have recently, um, I get compared to Mr. Sean King constantly. So, yep. All right. Have a good rest of your day. I gotta go to work. I gotta be in the office in a half hour, and that involves a 20-minute drive. So, see you guys. Uh, Sorry about the audio, and I hope Ben comes back on. Uh, just wanted you guys to know, no controversy. It's just audio corruption. All right. Take care.